So far, I've posted 2 YouTube videos, and every time I post, my wholesome and supportive friends promptly discuss that video. But eventually, they're going to forget, and we can't be having that. So I had to call on an old friend. When I first found out that Discord bots can be coded by anyone, and especially when I found out that Discord.js exists, which is a library that allows you to use the Discord API within Node.js, I was hooked. I looked up tutorials and I built this simple bot called Xata bot, which has a couple of really random test and practice commands. But I'm using it for a few quality of life improvements, such as this member count channel is a function that runs every time the bot receives a member join or leave event, and it checks how many members are there and it changes the name of the channel to the number of members. Another thing that we're doing is that unfortunately the general channel in this Discord has reached its max limit of 50 pins. I believe it's 50, which is random. I mean, why would you have a limit on how many pins you can have? But anyways, I just wrote a little script that checks whenever there is an event of a pinned message, and it unpins the message and instead adds it to a special channel called pins, so that I'm effectively bypassing Discord's limit of 50 pins per channel. Back to my goal. So far they seem to be subscribed to my channel, but if they do unsubscribe, then I want to make sure that they get notifications about my videos anyways. So I'm going to allow Xata bot to check whenever I upload a new video and post a message in this channel saying that a new video has been posted. So even if they unsubscribe on YouTube, they'll still get the Discord notification. Let's get into some code. So this is the project that I have for Xata bot for a very long time. I don't remember whose tutorial I watched, but I watched a YouTube tutorial for how to set up Discord.js 14 project, along with all best practices for folder structure and how to keep all the commands in a separate file and then parse those files and load commands, including the new / commands that Discord introduced and everything. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go into that. It's a bit too complex for me to cover. And also there are so many other tutorials if you're looking for that. Let's get into how to create a YouTube notification bot in Discord. Before this video, I was just brainstorming how I could achieve this. So let me just bring you up to speed on what I have so far. I've created a file that exports this YouTube notification function, and this is the function that we're going to run on an interval, so that we can then check whether a new video has been uploaded, and if it has, then we can send the message to Discord. Unfortunately, YouTube themselves don't offer any sort of webhook or anything where I can ask YouTube to notify my code whenever they upload a new video. So this is slightly manual, but it works great for our use case. So that's what we're going to do. I've just brought in this YouTube video notification function into our client.ready event. So if you're not 100% familiar with how Discord bots work, every time a Discord bot comes online, it emits the ready event. And so what we can do is we can listen to the ready event, and anything that we want to run every single time the bot comes online, we can run it inside the ready function. So as you can see, I've loaded the commands that we have. I'm setting the client's user activity, which is the small little tagline that shows under your username in Discord. And finally, we want to run this YouTube video notification function. Back in the YouTube video notification function, I was experimenting with this package called rss-parser. It's, as you can tell, it parses RSS feeds, and YouTube actually exposes every channel's RSS feed at this URL. So if you go to youtube.com/feeds/videos.xml, then you can pass in a channel ID as a URL parameter, and this is my channel ID. If you go to this website, you'll see that we have the XML feed for every video that I've posted. So this RSS parser, what it does is it parses that XML into a JavaScript object that we can use. The parsed XML feed gives us a title and then an items array, and this array is just the array of all the videos. So I'm destructuring the title and then the items. I'm renaming the items to videos, so it's a little easier to understand. And then we're doing a quick check for if there is no title or no videos inside this array. So this is just a failsafe, just in case the fetch doesn't work or something doesn't work. then we'll know that there is no XML feed, and I'm going to say that we failed to get the feed for this channel. Currently, I'm just console logging it. I don't want to get a message sent to a channel or something every 2 minutes or every interval if there's an error. So instead, I'm going to log it, and then if I notice that the videos are not updating, then I can obviously just go and check the logs of the deployed bot. So far, we have access to every single video a channel has uploaded, but that's not really helpful until we know if the first video is new or not. So the solution here is to store the first video's ID inside a database, and every time we do this check, we need to compare the newest video in the XML feed to our database's latest video and see if they're the same. If they're not the same, then we know that the XML has updated, and then we can send the message. Luckily, I do already have a database connected to this project because I'm storing the channel ID of the member count channel. So I'm actually using Xata, which is at xata.io. It's a really fun platform because they give you a complete database with all the way up to production needs if you need. But they also have a really nice UI where you can go in and look at the data that you have. So here in my workspace, you can see that I have ShantaBot, which is a database I've created. And inside here, I can go to the latest YouTube video database that I created. And I just manually created this inside the UI. So that's really fun. So I've just added a channel ID, which is a string, and a video ID, which is a string. And I just manually entered this my channel ID and my latest videos ID. In the future, if you want to enhance this, then we can add a command that allows you to add your channel ID. So then in this database, we can hold a whole bunch of people's channels, and every time the function runs, we can check all those channels and send a message. I'm going to lay the foundation for that in this video, but I don't know if we'll get to completing. So first thing we want to do is get rid of this channel ID that I had here from testing the parser to see what kind of data I get back. And then we want to fetch the channels from Xata. So Xata recently added support for any ORM to interface with their Prisma DB. But before that, they had this Xata specific ORM type syntax. So to get the channels, we're going to await Xata.db the table name, which is latest YouTube video, and then get all to get all entries. And then we're going to make sure that we run this function for every single channel that exists in that list. So channels.for each channel, we're going to get its feed and therefore get the latest video. Then compare the latest video to the current video in our database. And then if the video is new, then we want to send a message. So this is the code to get the XML feed. And then we want to do a quick check in case the fields that we return from the XML are invalid. So I'm just going to copy that from my testing and paste it in here. It's yelling at us because this is an await and we don't have async here. First of all, let's destructure some of the stuff that we need from our channel. So as you can see, we have a channel ID and a video ID. So from this, we're going to remove our channel ID and video ID, and then pass in the channel ID to these two fields here. So now this is dynamic. Every time we run this function for each channel, it's going to fetch a new XML feed from YouTube. And we're going to check if that XML is returning the correct data that we want. If we have the right data, then we want to move in and check if the video ID that we received from our database is not equal to the first video ID that we get from the XML feed, which means that something has been updated on the XML feed. And then we know that for sure we have a new video. And let's run it so far with NodeMon to just check if our database connection and everything else is working. This is just the default that this setup gives me, so it just shows me everything that's been correctly updated and loaded into the client. But finally, we're getting this error that says table latest YouTube video is not found in the schema. And I think I know what this is, so I just googled Xata how to update local schema after changing it in the UI. So the thing is, I changed the Xata table inside the UI, but I don't think the local code generator that they use for the TypeScript types is updated yet. So we're just going to run this, updating the schema, Xata code gen to update the schema for the Xata client. Okay, so hopefully the types have been updated. Now let's run it with NodeMon. And hopefully we shouldn't get any errors. And there we go, new video is this. So now we know that we can detect new videos. Let's go ahead and actually send a message. And finally, after we've sent the message, we need to update the latest video in Xata. So in the future, when we make this dynamic enough to work in multiple servers, we'll also in the database store which channel we want to send this message to. But right now, I'm just going to hardcode this data. So let's set the message channel as client.channels.get, and I'm going to pass in our channel ID here. And then we're going to channel.message.send, I believe is the syntax. If not, we'll figure it out. But I'm just going to say, we're just going to pass in a string literal here so that we can put in some variables into this. I'm going to say title, which comes from our XML field. And this is the name of the YouTube channel. So not the @ but the actual display name that you set. So title posted a new YouTube video. Check it out. And then on a new line, let's put in the videos.link. Now AI has given me this link which I don't really trust. So let's go back to the XML and check if we do get a link. And as I thought, you don't really get this link. So instead we'll have to construct our own YouTube video link, which maybe, yeah, okay, that should be right. youtube.com/watch. And then here we can put in the video ID. A quick correction that we can actually add is that instead of using the video.id, we should use the video.video ID, because I just noticed, let me just zoom this up. The ID that we get is YT:video:, and then the ID, whereas the YouTube video ID is just the actual ID. So that's what we're using here, but we should also use it in our check. And let's see if this works. Okay, it doesn't work. Oh, that's because I just spelled this wrong. Client.channels.get. Let's see. I'm 90% sure about this syntax, but yeah, okay, that's not right. Let me see if I have chosen a channel before. So this is when I went into full debug mode and totally clocked out of walking through what I was doing. So here's a voiceover just walking through kind of how my thought process was. So I knew the syntax was wrong, so I first went to the Discord.js docs, but unfortunately I couldn't really understand the docs. They didn't have a very nice way that they were just displaying all the methods, or maybe I just didn't find it. So then I went to a tool that I've been using quite a bit recently. It's called Find at find.com with PH instead of F, and it's a really great AI tool. It's kind of like a chatbot, kind of like Perplexity AI if you're familiar with that, but it's geared more towards code and code related questions. And it's completely free, so that's why I've been using it quite a bit. So the answer that it gave me was exactly what I had written so far, which confused me for a second. Then I realized that the client can't just fetch channels out of nowhere. We need to actually define a guild and then fetch the channels from that guild specifically. Okay, now let's try this. So first I thought it was because I was not awaiting the result, but adding the await still didn't fix it. Then I remembered find showing me guild.cache.get and channels.cache.get. So then finally I added that in. And that definitely worked. But now we're on to the next error, which is that message.channel.message.send doesn't exist, and that's because you can directly send into a channel by using the channel.send method. There's no message in the middle. So I got stuck on this for a bit. I had to use find again to check out how I can send a message in a channel, and find gave me the exact answer that I was looking for. This happens. I'm coming back to this project after a really long time, so I don't expect to remember everything. But finally, we have a message. Oh my god, okay. It's not done. So as you can see, we got a message to be sent, but unfortunately the video ID was undefined. So now back to debugging that. So I decided to console log the object and see if video ID exists, and just comment out the message so we don't keep spamming the channel while I'm debugging. And what do you know, the video ID field doesn't actually exist. So I was a little bit surprised because I could clearly see it in the XML, but it wasn't showing up after being parsed. Quick correction to the correction. Unfortunately, this video is a bit too chaotic, but hey, this is the process that I want to show you guys. It's not all easy. You have to figure things out sometimes. So what I did was that I tried to use the video ID instead of ID. But unfortunately, even though it exists here in the XML, where is that? Here. It doesn't actually exist inside the parsed information, because now that I look at it, this has just ID, whereas this has YT:video ID. So I don't think the RSS parser is able to figure out what that is, so it just ignores it. So unfortunately, we don't have access to that, but that's fine. We can update the ID to be the video ID to be ID, and here I want to construct the new video ID to be to replace the video YouTube.video whatever, and then we want to create video URL to be, that's it, HTTPS watch and new ID. So now we should be able to send a message with, instead of all this, can remove this and just say video URL. Before I save this, I just want to do the update into Xata so that we can check, hopefully that works as well. Wow, is that right? Wait, Xata.db.latest video update channel ID, video and new video ID. Wait, that might be it. Okay, so here, just to mess up my ID, I just removed a couple of letters. So let's see if this works. First of all, the client should start. And we've got a new message. Yes, okay, and this is updated. Has it though? ASLK, no it hasn't. Okay, so I thought so. Unfortunately, we cannot pass in the channel ID here. We need to also bring out the ID, just the ID, which is this, the actual ID given to us by Xata. And if we pass that in, you should be able to do this one last time. And let me just delete this so I'm not spamming people. And yes, we have updated the video ID. But instead of going to the new video ID, we need to update it to the video 0.id. There we go. That should be the final one. I'm just going to delete this. Video is not defined. What? Oh, videos, right? And there we have it. So we have a message being sent with the new video, and yes, we have the updated thing in the database. So now all that's left is to run this on some sort of timer so that it runs every couple of minutes, and as soon as the XML feed updates, it's going to send a message into Discord and update the database so that the next iteration of the function knows that the updated XML feed is no longer fresh until a new video is posted. Thanks to another AI search, I just checked out how I can run a function recursively at a timeout, and this makes perfect sense. We run the function and then set a timeout and then call the same function inside it. So real quick, I'm going to take all this code that we just wrote inside the main function and abstract it out to a function here. Async function. Let's name this YouTube notification. We want to pass in the client since we're using the client to send the message, and then paste all this in. Let me just minimize this. After all this, we want to set a timeout, pass in this function again, so YT notifications, call that function, and we want to run this let's say every 5 minutes, so 5 times 60 seconds and times 1000 for milliseconds. So let's just confirm what 5 minutes to milliseconds is 300,000, and 5 times 60 times 1000 is also 300,000. Okay, so we should be good. We just need to now call this function that we just created in here and pass in the client, and we should be good. I'll make a quick update when I actually upload this video, and in the next video we'll see if this really worked or not.